from grassroots level, because someday doesn't happen. We are in profession, so please help me.
Very well said, ma'am. The question is for both of you. If you had to go back to your college years back, what would be the first thing you would do, and what is the one thing which you miss till date? That might be going to management fest, or having attending cultural fests, or conducting class competitions, or spending time with friends. What would that be for both of you?
I definitely missed attending management fest due to some reasons. And management fest is where you get to network a lot with your peers, staff from other colleges, and that's what helps you in the professional journey down the line when you are in corporate. So networking plays a key role, whether you are in college or in the job world. So management fest is what I definitely miss.
What about you, sir?
For me, it would be two things. One would be the man, obviously. One would be the conducting events. Management fest, meet new people, meet new personalities. So networking is very much important. Second would be the events. So conducting events, basically it helps you to build the leadership quality, the communications, how the things work for you. So I think so both would be the things which I would miss.
Very well said, sir. Thank you.
So my next question is, what was the biggest cultural shock you experienced during your first month in the college world?
So I tell one thing. Visibility will be the I think so, darkest cultural impact. So what happens? I tell you exactly. You work hard, you give your best, you give everything. But at the end, what happens is sometimes there are people at the upper level of yours who take away the visibility of yours. The work which you are doing is being rewarded to someone else. I think this should be the darkest secret of the corporate world.
What about you, ma'am?
You are suddenly expected accountability, professionalism. When in college, you have someone to fall back on. If you are stuck somewhere, you have professors. But in corporate, it doesn't work that way. No matter you are a graduate or postgraduate, you are a professional. You are treated equal with everyone else. No matter you don't carry any experience. So that was the biggest frustration.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. So my next question is, if you could time travel and give one piece of advice to your second BBA self, what would it be?
Grades do matter, but getting perfect grades is not everything you need to focus about. You can work on upskilling, networking, taking projects, internships. Not necessarily that should be the opportunity given from college. You can explore on your own. Take, like innovate on yourself. Even if it's a small project, you can do on your own. So that really helps.
Thank you, ma'am. What about you, sir?
Adding to what Aishwarya said, I think if I would have gone back, I would have started my career decisions a lot more early. So I started my career since the third year, which was actually too late. Too late for in order to go to the A grade colleges. So actually, in the first year itself, you have to figure out where do you exactly want to go, which specialization you want to go, either it's for you HR, marketing, finance. Second semester would be to make the choices where you are interested. And in the second year itself, you have to start preparing yourself in order to get into the A-grade colleges, in order to go through your skills, you can go to your certifications and everything. So that was the one thing I would reiterate.
Thank you, sir. What is the most important lesson you learned in your first year of work that no textbook could have taught you?
Okay, so textbook will tell you about definitions, I think so, stories, definitions, facts. So in corporate world, there is no requirement of definition. In corporate world, you require execution, analysis. So what learning you have done in your college, in order to execute it, is the first thing you learn in the corporate setting. Analyzing the things and everything is quite different from what you are learning over here and what actually is being implemented in the business world. So I think so execution, the second will be analysis.
Thanks. Adaptability is the biggest thing. So, no matter you have completed 1 year or you are still in your learning phase, don't change around you. You need to adapt to the changes.
Actually true. In the world of AI and automation, which human skill do you think is now more valuable than ever in business?
I would say emotional intelligence because even AI can replace the manual tedious tasks, but that human touch and making decisions that cannot be replaced by AI, that always requires human touch.
Okay, coming to AI. So everything, everywhere there is AI. So don't be worried about the AI. It won't take away your jobs so easily. It's the same question I had asked last month to my head. So AI will take away jobs and will create more jobs. So that would be the fact, one fact. Second thing, what AI does is what a human teaches AI. So AI will be doing whatever you teach. If AI is being taught A, and if, for example, B comes, AI will not be able to recognize it. It will not be able to analyze it. So there is human intervention required over there. AI will take away jobs, but it will create more jobs. And the jobs which require analysis, which require more of execution work, more of rotating jobs, there the AI would not be able to take away your jobs easily. So I think so AI would be a threat and moreover opportunity for more roles.
So that was a very good point which you pointed out. But I have a question. Since everyone is speaking about AI, will AI take over jobs or anything? And you said that AI will not take over jobs because it needs human intervention. How does AI or how is AI going to impact your jobs down the line, that is 5 or 8 years? How will it impact?
So the hard truth right now is none of the companies figure out what they are going to do with the AI. So I'm talking about finance perspective. You talk about JP Morgan, you talk about Morgan Stanley, you talk about Deutsche Bank. Till the day they are not able to figure out what we'll have to operate our skills. So I myself.
I work in a private sector schedule planning, so we have human interaction on a day-to-day basis. AI will help digital banking, more of a personalized customer experience and technology upgrade.
You said that you are working in a private bank right now. The question is for you. You moved from HR associate to talent acquisition, and now you are working as a probationary officer. What made you take that leap? Or what was the turning point in your career which made you take that leap?
I was always looking for a dynamic role with greater responsibilities, and banking industry is one where I feel it provides you a certain kind of job stability with larger responsibilities and accountability and a good.
Ma'am, I think most of the second years don't know what a probationary officer is. Could you care to explain to them in brief, so that they would understand what professional officer is, and maybe one of them might change their mind and try to aspire to go to your role.
Okay, so I work for Karnataka Bank, which is a scheduled private sector bank. Unlike SBI, so it comes in a similar line of bank, but when you go for SBI, Union Bank or any such, those come under public sector banks. If you could know the classification between public and private sector. So in banking, there is a basic role called customer service associate, so which is a first level of job, that is the clerical role, and post which you have this junior management scale 1 officer, scale 2, scale 3. So right now my designation is scale 1, but across all the industries, I think in corporate sector, the probationary period is only for 6 months. It differs from organization to organization, but when it comes to a scale 1 officer, the probationary period is for 1 year. And from bank to bank, you are supposed to complete certain certifications because now every industry is into marketing. And even though I am in banking, I'm not sure if all of you have completed your NISM mutual fund certification yet. But I can tell you back when I was in final year, I was finance major here in BBA. I completed my mutual fund certification. Unfortunately, I did not renew. And last year in 2025 again I had to apply because that is a mandatory criteria for me to get confirmed as a scale 1 officer, and also a specialized person insurance exam. So since 1 year is treated as a probation, the designation is given as probationary officer scale 1, post of which confirmation is given officer scale.
Thank you, ma'am. So the next question is for you. Just give me your path from early finance roles to becoming a senior analyst. What was the turning point, or who was the one who pushed you to that point?
Okay, so I think so the turning point was entering the IB. So investment bank, Society General, which was my second company, and that was the turning point for me in the career, because it is not easy to get into the IB business. IB business is a little bit more complicated. It requires skills. So I think so the turning point in my journey was 2022 and Society General. No one helped me actually. Whatever I did was on my own basis. Whatever the interview, whatever it did. So it was on my own. There are people who guided me, but cracking the interview and reaching the IB market was on my own.
Thank you, sir. This question is for both of you. Do you believe the hustle culture, that is working for 14 hours a day or 18 hours a day, is a badge of honor or a recipe for burnout?
Hustle culture definitely pushes a person to perform better, and it leads to higher growth in short term. But overload always ends up in burnout. So I believe balance between both is always better for long-term success.
What about you, sir?
Yeah, for more than 10 hours. 10 hours will be the max in the peak season, I think so. I think you need to be a smart working. You need to adopt a smart working rather than being a hard working. So smart working would be the key to success.
Sir, could you mind sharing any of the challenges which you saw recently in your career?
Recently, I think so. So when I was in Society General, I was in the back office. So I was in the back office team basically. So I had almost 3 years of experience, and I was ready for the new role. In order for me to jump to the front office, I think so that was the most difficult thing. It took me almost 10 months of preparation, multiple interviews. I think so 4 or 5 of interviews to get into Deutsche Bank for the front office team. And I think so, yeah, I think the interview will be a difficult part recently.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to the next question. For students who are interested in finance and analytical skills, which technical or soft skill separates the good from the great? For the students who are interested in finance and analytical skills, which technical or soft skill separates the good from the great?
So, as per me, skill set is okay. Everyone will have the skill set. So, in order to be a great candidate rather than being the good, I think so. For a good person, he will do 9 to 5 job, he will go home, done consistently. In order to become a great candidate, you should not be seeing the time. Time should not be the what I can tell. Time should not be the restrictions. Time should not be the restriction. Second thing would be try using the resource. There are n number of resources available in the company itself. There are n number of applications, n number of opportunities. You need to make use of it at the most. Second thing. Third thing would be the communication. I think so everyone needs to work on the communication skills. Communication is the main thing which helps you go ahead in your life. So in the finance, be it HR, marketing, communication is, I think so, very much important. Skill-wise, I think so, you need to be very versed with this Excel. Excel is very much important. Be it finance, marketing, Excel is the one major, I think so, the skill required. Yeah.
Adding to Mihir, as Mihir said, Excel, there was a time when in resume they used to check whether you know at least basic Excel. In today's world, no one asks you even if you know Excel because advanced Excel has become non-negotiable. Be it in private or corporate, public sector bank, because it helps you minimize manual tasks. And apart from that, Power BI, SQL. So as I think you have access for LinkedIn Learning or you can subscribe for it. So many of these platforms provide you with all such tools. So rather than waiting until you complete your final year, then deciding on career, alongside your semesters, you can upgrade with these skills.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
My next question is to both of you. For a student who wants to land a role similar to yours one day, what's the practical 3 to 4 year roadmap?
There is no shortcut to success, as they say. And I think in the initial part of the conversation, as we said, don't wait until your final year. If you are very clear, if you are very specific in what field you want to make a career or a specific role, start doing your research right now. Or don't wait, like don't think, let me see, 6 semester में क्या होगा उसके बाद टाइम मिलेगा, then I decide कौन सा मास्टर्स चूज करेंगे, कहाँ पे करेंगे, because you are in the rat race right now. There are lakhs of people who are putting, so you should be able to stand out. If there are hundreds of people, thousands or lakhs of them doing BBA, so what makes you stand out to get that seat in one of your dream colleges in, top tier? So start right now, right in this moment. Approach your professors. As we said, networking plays a key role. If you, I think there will be a lot of resource persons visiting the college. Approach them. Try to find which field you enjoy working, what brings you satisfaction. Analyze your strengths and choose that.
So, I would not say 3 to 4 years. So, you should be starting from day one. So, from day one, your basics should be strong. For finance person, I think so, accounting, your financial management.
Many professors know. My first job was it was a campus placement, state HR job. So initially I used to work like 8 hours, 10 hours a day, and then came the peak season. So I started, even though it was a HR, I started working for 15, 16 hours a day, and that's when I lost my health. I had a disc bulge, and eventually I had to resign with my first job, and I had to go through MRI, multiple hospital visits, and till date I am being told that you are not supposed to do a desk job, you are not supposed to sit continuously. And after that, I again landed a role in Accenture. So it was similar to my first job, higher targets, performance pressure. So in between, I had to leave. So I could see when my batchmates were performing well in their career. When you are just out of college, you have 3 or 4 years in your hand to switch between roles. You don't feel disheartened back then. But 5 or 6 years down the line after your graduation or post-graduation, you are supposed to settle in a role. But everyone's journey is different. If I look back to 2021, I did not know I would end up in this role. So you do not have to get disheartened. There will be setbacks, and that's what makes you come back stronger always.
So for me, I don't think so we can call it a failure, but in order for me to end up at Deutsche Bank, to change my role from back office to front office, it took me almost 10 months and multiple round of interviews. So back office is all about accounting and everything. So front office includes risk management. It includes for communication with the clients, with the traders. So it was not easy for me to land to Deutsche Bank, first of all. And second thing would be to come from back office to the front office role.
Anybody else?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. As ma'am also mentioned that you were into finance stream in management fest and you were in finance from the very first year, I would believe. So my question is very simple. Why finance? Why not something else? Why not marketing? Why not HR? If I would have to put it in 2 words, why finance?
Okay, so for me, why finance? I think so. I started finance journey looking at my father. So my father, he was an investor. He was an investor into the stock market. So from the very beginning of my childhood days, I used to see that my father keeps on watching same TV, that is the business channel. So from there, I used to understand things like how does the market works, what happens, and all. So one fine day, when I think so, the second year or third year of my BBA, I made my mind that I want to make a career in finance. I want to go ahead in my life. I want to understand more about capital markets. So what I did, I went to my father. I want to understand more about capital markets. So my father had one friend of his, that is Nana Lukova. That is a Shobha who knows Nana very nicely. So after college, what I used to do is, in the final year, I used to go near him, like 3 o'clock, I think so, I used to go to him. I used to see the markets, and after that, I used to understand the markets, how things work, what is the opportunity. I think so, from the father, I think so, I got the thinking that I should go into finance. And further, it was my mentors, my faculties, the person myself. From there, I think so I landed into finance role. Also, I'm a Guruji person, so finance is in our blood, money is in our blood.
I'll be very honest here, no filter. When you're good at numbers rather than theory, you end up in a finance specialization.
would you prefer staying loyal to one company and growing in that company or switching companies?
As long as you're satisfied with whatever you are doing, it's your own personal call. It does not matter whether you are in one organization for a decade or you have switched 5 organizations in a decade.
As per my perspective, adding to what Vaishya said, if you're satisfied with the role, if you're satisfied with the compensation, it's okay, you can continue. There are people who are working for the same company from 20-25 years. So for me, I wanted to experience different types of roles. So if you see my CV, which I shared with them, the first role was hedge fund accounting. So I was working for the New York clients. It was hedge fund accounting. Second role was product control, which was totally new to me. I was not aware about what is product control. I wanted to learn new things, so I switched company. And the third role which I landed up is a front office. It's again a completely different role. So for me, learning was very much important. Learning was important, so switching companies is not, I can tell, a good suggestion I would give. But if there is a growth limitation, if you are not being rewarded, people are going to switch. People are going to jump to the other companies.
I would like to share one of my personal experience. As I said, my first job was in State Street Corporation. So even though I worked there in HR for major part of my time there, when I joined initially, there was a requirement in investment banking. So I worked in investment banking for 3 months. Then they moved me to fund accounting and administration. So during the 6 months, even though I was finance student in college, so investment banking, my company belongs to America. Used to belong to like State Street is part of America. So I found it a bit difficult. Like when compared to Indian stock markets, there you have to work on hedge funds, alternative investment funds. So that's when I started feeling I have good communication skills, so I can try with HR. And as you know, in every organization there is something called IJP, internal job posting. So you can always explore. So that's how I have ended up here. It's not that I had all sorted it out back then. I just grabbed the opportunity. It was a campus placement. I went with the flow. But in the same organization, I have worked for 3 different departments.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. So my question is, like in today's world, we know that.
So personally, what I do, I will tell you. On the weekends, when I have time, or on the weekdays, I keep on reading articles on daily basis. I keep on reading newspaper. I think so. If you want to update yourself and increase your communication skill, both at the same time, you'll have to keep on reading. Reading is the only thing which will help you build a communication skill and will help you build a knowledge. So I will not tell you that go and read newspaper. There are various articles available, there are various books available which you can read. So that would be much more than enough for you to build a communication skill.
Adding to what Mihir said, if someone who has no habit of reading at all these things feel tedious tasks. One simple habit you can inculcate in yourself. And college starts at 8:30 a.m. every day. You 9 every day. You have newspaper, magazines at the entrance next to principal's cabin. You can start reading at least front page of a newspaper every day. It helps you improve your communication skill, and alongside you will stay updated with what's happening around you. That's very basic.
Anybody has any questions?
Anything related to career, anything related to investing, I can help you on that. any questions. We can take one or two more questions if you guys are ready.
Okay, so moving on to the next session, that is rapid fire.
So you have only 5 seconds to answer and it should be one word answer. Emails or meetings? Emails.
For me, it would be meeting.
Early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
Aligarh,
A perfectly organized calendar or going with the flow?
Perfectly organized calendar.
same, perfectly, never works for me.
LinkedIn, great for networking or just a place for bragging?
Both.
Networking, I think.
One app on your phone you cannot live without for work. WhatsApp.
For work, I think so it would be Outlook.
One thing you miss most about being a college student.
Freedom.
Yeah, I think so. Freedom over time.
Describe your corporate persona in 3 words.
I think it would be being reliable, collaborative, and being analytical.
Discipline.
For me, I think so it should be London.
Advice for the students.
Okay. First advice would be from my side. You'll have to start thinking like what you want to pursue from the beginning. Actually, it's the second year is the time when you choose a specialization and everything. Rather from the first year itself, you need to understand that what you are good at. So, for example, for an HR person, the person who is good at bargaining, the person who is good at people management can land to HR. Second would be the marketing, which you have the option. The person who is good at selling things, person who is good at selling things, who is good at promoting branding, can go for marketing. Third would be finance. For finance, I would suggest if you are good at numbers is everything is there in finance. I think so. These are the options you are having. So for you to understand what you are good at, this is the time you need to be ready. What you want to do, where you want to land, what is your future plan. Accordingly, you need to work on your skills, college or which degree you want to be further in order to land up in the job or the business market.
First of all, whatever you want to achieve in life, whatever role you want to land into, or you want to end up in whichever college after your graduation, having a positive approach or positive mindset is important because negative approach does not help you achieve anything. And take initiative, be enthusiastic about whatever you want to do. There will be someone who will always be there to support you. When you are in college, you can approach your professors, seniors, alumni, anyone. When you are into corporate, there also you have seniors. Uh, there will be parents will always be there for you. So you don't have to think.
For me, I started by investing since long back, so I'm very much inspired about his journey, about his thoughts, about the way he invests. So for sure, what about
So what about you, ma'am?
Sudhabu, philanthropic, but no matter where you end up, you should never forget your roots, and humanity rules over everything.
If you weren't in this profession, what would you be doing?
if I was not in the job market? Obviously, I would be in the entrepreneurship. I would be in the business market.
I would be happily married by now.
Okay, so I want you both to be honest in this. Money or passion?
So everyone will be telling passion, passion, passion. At the end, it's all about money. Everyone is working for money. Everyone is there for money. No one is working for free. So it will be money.
Ma'am?
Whoever said money can't buy everything is a big lie.
I think everyone in this room would agree to that. Favorite part of your college life?
Roaming with your friends, chilling out with your friends, classmates.
Same. Lot of freedom, lot of space to learn things, no one to judge you. It's you, your friends.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. The next question is, one regret from your student days.
For me, it would be career, I think so. I would have should have made my decisions a lot more earlier in my life or my career. I think I would have achieved it at a very short period of time if I would have started thinking about it at the very starting beginning of years of my college days.
College days are very confusing. I believe you all are in the same phase right now. So I would say my second year BBA self that I did not have to stress as much I did back then because things will eventually fall into place.
What was the best career advice you received in your life which impacted your whole career's decision?
For a person who is in job, I think so, one career advice would be easy to work with and hard to replace. Because if there is replacement for you, there's always going to be a threat that you will lose your job. So I think that would be good.
Have at least one skill which helps you stand out from the rest of the crowd.
So, and ma'am, this question is for both of you. Biggest strength you bring to your team? Since you both mentioned that bringing something to the table which you guys shouldn't be replaced easily. What is the one biggest strength you guys bring to the team?
From my perspective, it should be positive attitude, being easy to work with.
What about you, ma'am?
Strong communication and negotiation skills.
This is the last question for this session. So, after the conversation we had from past 1 hour, I believe, what would be the one golden rule for success which you guys want to convey to the juniors over here so that they can implement that advice or change their way of living or change their day-to-day actions? What would that one golden rule for success be?
So for me, as per my perspective, I would be telling, be patient enough to take things positively. Be patient. You will get opportunity. Things will come to you. Things will be ups or downs in your life. But never give up. Never just run away from the things. I'm not able to do this. I'm not able to do that. So for me, it would be don't just give up so easily.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, what about you?
As they say, there is no shortcut to success. Stay consistent. Put your efforts. Hard work will always pay off. As we have said, don't get disheartened if you are not getting the results. Your time will come and everything will pay off.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for inviting us. Thank you, guys, for coordinating with us. So,
Sir, it was actually our pleasure to have you guys the streets, and it was really wonderful having a conversation with you guys, which was so intellectual. I don't know how many of the students understood it, but the advice which you guys provided to us is very valuable, and I personally will use a lot of the quotes which you mentioned, sir. Those are one of the beautiful things. And also the books which you mentioned, I'll check on that. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, once again for coming to the college back, taking time from your busy schedule and being with us. Thank you.
The book is in my cabin, you can take it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Now, as we come to the end of this session, I would now like to request Mr. Pranchu to deliver